This is how everything has just turned into soil. Don't tell me you're still throwing out all of that peel that you're getting from your kitchen, like your yam peel and your plantain peel, or even your banana peel down to eggshell. So now let me show you how I turn my food scraps into compost. That day when I forgot that I had bread at home and it was time to make some sandwiches for my daughter, I realized that the bread had gone bad, and I started feeling bad because I know the price of things in the market now, especially bread. In fact, especially everything. Bread is now expensive, and then I started feeling bad, and I started to feel like I was wasting food. But at the same time, I knew that okay, if I'm not going to eat this, it will go right back into my soil. And before I put it into my soil, I always compost it. And I know that the best compost always comes from food scraps. So let me show you guys how I compost my food scraps. And if you're wondering if bread is supposed to go in your compost bin, yes, you can put bread in your compost bin. The only thing you have to worry about is rodents, things digging them up and then eating it all up. I could as well also feed this to my catfish, but I feel like my catfish is still very, small for them to be fed bread or stale bread. If they were bigger, I would have tossed this in the tank and allowed them to eat it. But at this stage, they need their proper meal so that they can grow very well. In my kitchen, I have a separate bin from non-perishable to perishable meals. So for the perishable meals, things like plantain peel. My daughter had fried plantain for dinner last night, and today we just had okra from harvested from the garden, so we're having that for lunch. So always just have a separate nylon so that I can take out my food scraps right into my compost bin so that I can compost it. But before that, I always just save them in a bucket. I have a few buckets here and there in my garden that I have buried halfway into the ground. In fact, more than halfway, I've buried into the ground with a lid. So what I do is I just open it and put my food scraps in there daily. And then when it's filled up, I leave it to decompose over time. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Let's go to where I am going to be putting that. I'm also going to show you a few buckets that I have in the ground. This is where I have one of my buckets in the garden when I want. And I just open this one is already full and it is loaded with black soldier fly larva. So this is actually ready to be mixed into my existing compost, but I don't have one now, so I may have to even just make a new one. Okay, this is full, so I'm not going to put anything in here. There's another bucket somewhere where I will just throw this inside and the bread. So this is a bucket where we're going to throw this inside. You're going to see a lot of maggots, so please bear with me. So yes, this is where I have. So I'm just going to throw this in here. Okay, still bread there. Just make sure you're not putting any plastic in. Everything has to be perishable. So I get all of that and then I just cover, and the plastic will go somewhere. So look at how it's looking like there is no bucket in here. So we're going to shift this so that I can review the cover. I haven't opened this bucket in a while because it got filled up and I stopped putting food scraps inside. So now I have to, this is the cover of the bucket. Haha, this one is so dried, so we can collect from here now and then mix into my soil and use. This is decomposed, this is dry, this is from last year. I can even see ginger still inside, so let me get all of it out. This is how everything has just turned into soil. So this one is eggshell. That's why it's good to crush your eggshells before putting in inside, because it will be the last thing to decompose. In fact, it may never decompose if you do not crush them. Okay, so I have removed everything from this bucket that was buried in here, and so what I have done is, before I buried this bucket, I think this is like 3 years now that this bucket has been in here, I drilled holes by the side of the bucket and also under, so that earthworms can get in through the sides and then help the food scraps to, decompose faster. So after that, I will transfer it to wherever I want it to be, where I want to plant. I have planted 3-leaf yam here the other day. I saw the sprout somewhere in the garden and then I picked it up and planted here. And I know that I did not do anything to the soil, so now I have used food scrap and I'm going to just work it into the soil so that it will serve as nutrient for my 3-leaf yam. Okay, so what I want to do is to lightly work it up into the soil. Just this empty, I'm going to throw in this cassava, this rotten cassava in here. I don't need to chop that into pieces. I'm also going to put this bread in here, and then the plantain peel will go in. What they call it now, cassava, is rotten. This was harvested from our plot of land, and I thought I was going to make tapioca with it, but I never got the chance, and before I was ready it went bad, so nothing. And then I've been keeping these guys. I even forgot that I kept them. I've been keeping them for a while. It has yam peel. It has this monstera fruit that I harvested, and I harvested them too early because I wanted to try the monstera fruit for the first time. I've heard so much about it, and I kept it and it got bad. So it is also going to go into this bin. Okay, and our yam peel will go in here as well. Just going to cover, and whenever we have any food scraps, I will put it in here.